In the bustling streets of a sunny American town called Maple Grove, where yellow school buses rumbled past white picket fences and kids rode bikes with colorful streamers, there lived a quiet girl named Emily Harper. She had big, curious eyes, freckles across her nose, and a voice that was softer than a whisper. While other children laughed loudly at recess and shouted answers in class, Emily preferred to listen. She watched. She noticed. But she rarely spoke up. One bright autumn morning, as golden leaves danced like confetti in the wind, Emily's teacher announced the biggest project of the year, the annual Maple Grove Science Fair. "This is your chance to invent something amazing that helps our community," Mrs. Thompson said with a warm smile. "The best project wins a special trip to the National Science Museum in Washington, D.C. and gets to present on stage." The classroom exploded with excitement. Kids immediately started shouting ideas: robot dogs, flying drones, self-watering plant pots. Emily sat quietly at her desk, heart beating fast. She had the most wonderful idea bubbling inside her, a clever little device that could help elderly neighbors like old Mr. Benson hear better during noisy town meetings. She called it the Whisper Helper in her mind, tiny earpieces that made soft voices crystal clear without shouting. But when Mrs. Thompson asked, "Who wants to share their idea first?" Emily's throat tightened. She stayed silent, staring at her notebook. Maybe later, she thought. Someone else will say something louder. That silence planted the first invisible seed. At recess, her best friend Jamal, an energetic boy with a basketball always under his arm, ran up to her. "Emily, you're super smart with gadgets. Let's team up. I can build the frame if you design the electronics." Emily smiled shyly and nodded, but when Jamal asked what her idea was, she only whispered, "It's nothing special." Jamal shrugged and joined a loud group planning a giant volcano instead. Days turned into weeks. Emily worked alone in her garage after school, surrounded by wires, old headphones, and batteries. She tinkered quietly, testing and improving her Whisper Helper every evening while her family watched TV in the next room. Her little sister Sophie would peek in sometimes and say, "Emily, tell Mom and Dad about your invention. They'll love it." But Emily would shake her head. "It's not ready yet. I don't want them to laugh if it fails." Her voice stayed small, hidden like a secret treasure. Meanwhile, the classroom buzzed with noise. Loud presentations filled the air, flashy posters, dramatic demonstrations, and confident voices. Emily listened carefully to everyone, taking mental notes on what worked and what didn't. She noticed how Mr. Benson struggled at the town hall when people spoke too fast or too loud. She saw how her own grandma missed jokes at family dinners. These quiet observations fueled her work, but she never raised her hand to ask for help or share progress. Silence became her comfortable shield. As the science fair deadline approached, many projects fell apart. The giant volcano erupted too early and made a mess. The robot dog kept bumping into walls because its builders talked more than they tested. Jamal's group argued loudly over who should do what, and their drone never flew properly. Frustration filled the air like storm clouds. Emily kept working in silence. She fixed tiny problems no one else saw: better batteries, softer sounds, clearer connections. One night, when a big storm knocked out the power, she used a flashlight and kept going, determined but unseen. Her Whisper Helper slowly transformed from a rough sketch into a working marvel. Lightweight, comfortable earpieces that could pick up whispers from across a noisy room and make them sound warm and close. On the morning of the fair, the school gymnasium glowed with colorful displays. Parents, teachers, and judges walked between tables, clapping for the loudest and flashiest projects. Emily set up her small table in a quiet corner. Her poster was neat but simple, her demo hidden in a modest box. When judges approached, she spoke so softly they almost missed her explanation. "It helps people hear better in noisy places," she murmured. One judge smiled politely but moved on quickly to the louder volcano that was smoking dramatically nearby. Emily's heart sank, but she didn't push. She stayed silent, watching others celebrate. By afternoon, the awards were announced with fanfare. The giant volcano won Most Spectacular. Jamal's group got Best Team Effort even though their drone barely hovered. Emily received nothing. Not even honorable mention. She packed her whisper helper away quietly, fighting back tears as she walked home alone through falling autumn leaves. See? Her inner voice whispered. Being quiet means no one notices your hard work. Maybe I should have shouted like everyone else. That evening, something unexpected happened. Old Mr. Benson, the kind retired teacher who lived next door, knocked on the Harpers' door. He had visited the fair and noticed Emily's quiet corner. "Young lady," he said with a gentle smile, "I saw your little device. My hearing isn't what it used to be, and town meetings have become so noisy. Would you let me try it?" Emily hesitated, then handed him the whisper helper. Mr. Benson slipped them on. When Emily spoke in her softest voice from across the living room, he heard every word clearly, as if she were right beside him. His eyes widened with joy. "This is incredible. It's exactly what I need, and what so many others in our town need too." Word spread quietly at first, then faster than falling leaves. Neighbors started coming to Emily's garage, grandparents, teachers, even the town mayor. They tried the whisper helper and left with big smiles and stories of how it would help them at community events, family gatherings, and school plays. The local newspaper wrote a small article titled "The Quiet Invention That Speaks Volumes." Soon, a real inventor from a big company in Washington, D.C. called Emily's family. They wanted to see her creation. Emily still felt shy, but this time she didn't stay completely silent. With her family's encouragement, she showed the inventor her notebooks filled with careful observations and improvements. The inventor was amazed. "This isn't just a school project," he said. "This has real potential to help millions of people with hearing challenges. You noticed what loud thinkers missed." Months later, Emily stood on the stage at the National Science Museum in Washington, D.C., not because she won the school fair, but because her quiet, steady work had created something truly meaningful. The audience listened as she spoke softly but clearly about listening to the world around you. Her whisper helper was now being tested for real use, and she had earned a special Young Inventor Award. Cameras flashed, but the loudest applause came from her family, Jamal, Mr. Benson, and the entire Maple Grove community who had finally seen her success. Back home under the same golden autumn trees, Emily sat with her little sister Sophie on the porch swing. "I thought being silent meant I would stay unseen forever," Emily said softly. "But real success doesn't always need the loudest voice. Sometimes it grows in the quiet moments when you keep working, keep noticing, and keep caring even when no one is watching." Sophie hugged her tightly. "You taught me that listening and doing matter more than shouting." Jamal rode up on his bike, grinning. "Hey, quiet genius. Next year, let's team up louder, but your way. Your ideas are the best." Emily smiled, her freckles dancing in the sunlight. She had learned the beautiful truth. Silence isn't weakness when it's paired with action. The loudest successes sometimes begin in the quietest hearts, the ones that observe deeply, work steadily, and speak only when their creation is ready to shine. From that day on, whenever kids in Maple Grove felt overlooked because they were shy or soft-spoken, they would remember Emily Harper. They would pick up their tools, keep working in their own quiet way, and trust that unseen effort always finds its light in the end. Because true success isn't measured by how loudly you announce your dreams, it's measured by how faithfully you build them when no one is clapping yet. And in the heart of every quiet child who chooses to keep going, a special kind of magic grows, unseen at first, but powerful enough to change the world.